Hey, this is Gunda. This is Gilgamesh Me. I want to talk about this Kids Act. If you know about the Online Safety Act, that was Protect Children Act that was passed in the UK, and there's also the one passed in the EU. What this supposed to do is protect children online, but what it is a censorship bill. Um, and they're claiming this will protect kids online. Really, it isn't. It's going to be totally used to censor people for what they say, like especially if you say the wrong thing about our military base over there. So yeah. So this is bipartisan. It will pass, and the president will sign it into law. And this is an extremely horrible bill. I've heard, Reed Hackney talk about this, and others. So on the eve of, so let's go through this. This is the IAP. I'm not sure. Yeah, they said unpacking the scope of the Kids Act. A major package of youth privacy and safety bills has passed the U.S. House, and probably applies to your company. Well, it applies to everyone who's on internet. It's basically about like digital IDs and everything. You have to, this is the next step to everybody having to have an online digital ID. Some states already require that you can upload your ID, your government issued ID, and the only one they like are the one with the star in it. And I think Oregon may have been the first state to come up with that. I know we are one of the states pushing for because your driver's license, which is everybody gets one, you have to go through the DMV. But this is one that under Trump they said is the only one you can really use to get a passport to travel. So you have to get a government issued driver's license, which is more expensive than a regular driver's license. So the online, basically a digital ID is where, like I use the name Gilgamesh. You would have to online prove who you are. Like you have to put in your information, like your age, your name, your driver, like on Twitter, you have to put in your phone number, you have to give an email account, you have to prove who you are before you can use Twitter. And same thing with Google. This is more not really about protecting kids. This is more about control and censorship and taking away your freedoms. So yeah, so let's go through this. On the evening of June the 29th, 2026, that was Monday, the U.S. House of Representatives passed H.R. 7757, the Kids Internet and Digital Safety Act, by a decisive bipartisan margin of 267 to 117, after hammering out a compromise at the committee level with expectations of White House support, possibly in exchange for future support for preemptive AI legislation. House leaders had brought the bill directly to the floor for a vote under the fast track process. They didn't want anybody reading this thing. Like a lot of times, nobody reads these bills. The bill is a package of youth privacy and safety legislation, a consolidation brought about by negotiations spearheaded by House Energy and Commerce Committee Chairman Brett Guthrie, Republican from Kentucky, and ranking member Frank Pallone, Democrat from New Jersey, alongside critical input from Representative Gus Bilzrakis, Republican Florida, and Kathy Castor, Democrat from Florida, secured the necessary bipartisan consensus within the House. Leadership modified or exercised the most polarizing elements and prior iterations. The important to the ultimate fate of the bill package, the version of COSA in the final House bill fundamentally diverges from the Senate's version of the Kids Online Safety Act, S. 1748, lacking a duty of care provision. The essential ingredient ingredient for the Senate sponsored would impose a broad legal obligation on platforms to actively mitigate psychological harms, such as depression, eating disorders, and suicidal ideation. The House negotiators responding to concerns that a generalized duty of care would incentivize platforms to engage in censorship of constitutionally protected speech, replace this mechanism with prohibition on specific design features and operational safety guards. Some of these go beyond the Senate version, e.g., folding in the House Safety Measure for Kids Act, which would place restrictions around. Okay, so essentially what this fucking thing is doing is going to say it's worse than you could imagine. Yeah, right here. This is the scary thing. They're all applauding this thing because it's not what you think. It's not about protecting kids. This is about censorship. Jewish Foundation of North America applaud the House of Representatives for passing the Bipartisan Kids Act, an important step towards ensuring online safety. No, this is not about children. You can fuck it. They already have COSA, which protects the kids online from. The legislation includes. Why are these fuckers saying this? I'll tell you why. Because this is not about protecting kids. This, right here, including. Okay, bipartisan bill that Jewish Federation have actively supported through the legislative process to improve online. This has nothing to do about this is about censorship. Increase transparency, accountability in digital platforms. Expanded education. They don't even fucking teach kids shit in our schools to begin with. Providing parents and kids with stronger. Okay, first of all, parents shouldn't let their kids use social media to begin with. What this is really about, this word right here, anti-Semitism and hate. Hate is subjective. This is all about if you if you mention Israel and you say, oh, anything about what they're doing, the genocide, you're considered anti-Semitic. And this goes for anybody who isn't even Jewish. Anybody who supports Israel and you say the wrong thing, now you go. Yeah, this is really not about protecting kids. You can fucking shove that up your ass. This is actually about taking children, the whole thing with, we're going to strip your right to say anything about Israel. This was never about protecting kids. This whole thing was a disguised bill to literally fuck you in the ass. And here's another thing. This right here. Okay, birthright citizenship. The way the founders, this was written was, okay, you have to go back to slavery. This is in this because I might as well bring it up because this is something that went in front of the Supreme Court. Okay, in the birthright citizenship, essentially, you had a case brought in front of the Supreme Court where a former slave who was born in America said he was born. This is he considered himself American because he was born on America. Along with all the, he had, former slave, but at the time it was under British rule, so they said they went with bloodline, like what Trump's trying to do with birthright citizenship. He wants to fundamentally say, well, if your parents aren't American and you're born here, you're not an American citizen. That's not how the bill was written. The bill says, and it does not say if your parents are legal citizens or not. It says if you were born on American soil, you were considered by birth an American citizen. That's what birthright citizenship. And you had this debating in the Supreme Court, and they finally answered the question 6-3. Okay. And the thing is, with this, it's like the kid safety thing is a ruse to basically make people think we're protecting kids. No, this Trump thought his executive order would help him deal with the birthright citizenship. It didn't, because he didn't have the power to. Only Congress can change any law in the Constitution. So he didn't like this. He goes on his Truth Social and blames Amy Coney Barrett. It was 6-3. Even if Amy Coney joined the other side, and their way that they argued this was complete crap, and they know it. They're trying to, coerce these three So even if Amy went over, it still got defeated by 5-4. And the reason they went back to, okay, you go back to slavery. What about the Chinese people that were brought over here to build the railroads? They had children. They said, if and the way Congress wrote it, it's almost bulletproof. Congress knows they're not going to get rid of the birthright citizenship bill. They're not going to get rid of it. If you're born here, it says if you are born, it doesn't say if your parents are American citizens or not. It says if you are born in America, you are an American citizen. It doesn't say the parents are. It doesn't say the mother is. It says the child is, because they were born here. And then, Trump brought up Ted Cruz. He was born in Canada. His mother was Canadian. His father was from Cuba. I don't know if his father was an American, became an American citizen, but he moved to Canada. Ted Cruz, under that, well, whatever the outcome was, he's technically a Canadian. Yeah, he's not really an American. Unless his father was actually an American citizen, he was born in Canada. His mother's Canadian. His father was from Cuba. I don't know if his father was actually an American citizen when he went to Canada. And Trump was right when he ran the first term. Ted Cruz has to get solved the issue if he can actually run for president. But yeah. So whether the parents are legal or not, if the child is born in America, they are an American citizen. And this also dealt with the issue of former slaves. They are considered Americans because they have nowhere else to go. Then it brings up the whole thing with the in Native Americans. Are they under this law? Are they American citizens? Yes, but if you strip that away, then they're not American citizens because they're not considered Americans. So the point of the law is if you're born in America, whether your parents or not, you are an American citizen. Trump thought he could. And he knew he didn't have the legal ground to stand on to take this on. So the Kids Safety Act is a ruse to basically go, yeah, this is not protect, it's censorship. That's why you have these people right here jumping into and praising this. It's about censoring what you say. That's really what this is. And the whole thing over protecting kids is complete bullshit. What they are doing is they're going to censor what you can say online. If you say, like all the people that do videos about, we're talking about on the left that bring up Israel and what is the genocide, now they can target you and take you down for anti-Semitism. Do you understand? This right here, if you see this, right here tells you everything. That you're dealing with people who fundamentally, this coalition should not be applauding this except for in the bill, like it showed. This is about censorship, right here. This right here tells you, and hate. Hate is subjective. Yeah, and parents should already be monitoring with their kids. It should not be up to the government. I don't want the government telling people. This is where you get to fascism. When governments pass things like this, where we're going to monitor and parents are not going to have to do this, is not about giving parents the tools. This is all about censorship. And because most of these tech companies already do business for the U.S. government, so this whole thing, we're going to protect children, is complete bumpkiss. When you see this right here, anti-Semitism, what does that have to do with protecting kids? Nothing. That's what this is really about. This whole thing is a bunch of different things thrown in, and that's why these fuckers and I'm half Jewish, so I can say this, these fuckers are the Zionists for Israel. And they don't want you saying anything against Israel because even though you have people that are saying, politicians who are not Jewish are not, like Helen Mirren in the UK, because you criticize Helen Mirren because she supports Israel and she's not Jewish, somebody's being charged with a hate crime in the UK for calling out Helen Mirren for supporting Israel over what Israel's doing. I'm just going to put it that way, yeah. This was never about protecting kids. This is censorship, and it's the most scary thing the government's going to do. And that's why when you see this whole Jewish community, these Israeli-type people who have infiltrated America, yeah, they're doing this to protect Israel, our military base, and what the crimes they're committing. So if you say anything against Israel, they'll come for you. So when this passes, that's what this is about. This is not about protecting children. These people sex traffic children to DC and Florida and everywhere. So why are children, if they really give a shit, why are they, I want to talk about that real quick. So there you go. This is Gilgamesh. I'll talk to you later. Bye.